Hi guys, this is Clay talking about Virgil's Book 1, lines 135 through 147, in which Neptune tells off the winds and Aeolus for causing a whole mess in his ocean domain. And so this starts off kind of weird. Starts out this weird rhetorical device called aposiopesis, which is hard to kind of translate into English, but it's pretty much the lack of a verb. So it's literally translated as I to whom, or whom, accusative, plural, describing the winds. And so it's lacking a verb because it's supposed to show just how upset he is with the winds that he can't even think of how he would be able to punish them. He can't even come up with so horrible a punishment on the spot. So really, there's no way to do this in English without sounding a little cheesy, but the best way you could say is, well, I oughta do something to you, and then he says, but it is better to calm the agitated waves. So he kind of calms down. He's like, it's more important to fix all this right now. And he says, however, pretty much imply however, you will atone to me your crimes afterwards by no similar punishment, which is litotes, and it's sort of implying that they're getting off easy right now, but he's gonna be coming back and he's gonna be really punishing them, really making them pay for what they did. And he says, hasten your flight and tell these things to your king. The power, the kingdom of the ocean, and the savage Triton were given to me by fate, not to you. So he's really just shutting down Aeolus, who is Illy. And he says, Aeolus implied, has his great rocks, your domain, Eurus, who's the east wind. So he's setting up what he's about to talk about right now. He says, let him boast about himself in his own kingdom or domain. And so Aeolus goes with Yaket, Regnet, and Tenet. And let him reign in his closed prison of the winds. So he's saying, stay out of my kingdom, domain, stay in yours, Aeolus. And these are both jussive subjunctives. They're commands, but they're not as direct as just imperative. And I really like the word choice, sort of imagery here, because it has clauso and carcere, sort of surrounding Ventorum. So it's the winds are actually sealed in the sealed cave or prison. And then he says thus, and faster than a word he calms the swollen sea. And this is comparative adverb. You can know by the eus. And then it's he scatters. He both scatters the gathered clouds and returns the sun. And so it's pretty much saying Neptune is so powerful, so great that with the snap of his finger, before you can speak, he's fixed all these problems. He's just remedied everything. And that's just how amazing Neptune is compared to these pesky little wind gods. And then at the same time, Simathoe and Triton, and she's a nymph, and he's a kind of a big deal. He's he would inherit Neptune's kingdom if Neptune wasn't immortal, but so he's the first big son of Neptune. So anyway, Simothe and Triton simultaneously, and then Triton having leaned on the ship. So it says only talking about Triton, but they're both doing this action. They're both dislodging the ship from the sharp crag, but only Triton is leaning on it. So I'll go over that again. Simothe and Triton dislodged the ship from the sharp crag, Triton having leaned on the ship. So I mean, it's kind of weird to put that in there because if you did it in English, it would make it sound like Simothi and Triton were leaning on the ship, but really it's just Triton. So, and then this is implied Neptune, or you can make this Neptune, or Neptune himself raised his Triton and opened the vast quicksands and soothed the sea, and he glided over the tops of the waves with his light wheels. So he's I like to think of this as right here. I like to think of Lewibos Rotus as his light wheels is kind of Syndoki, which is I think it's implying that it's his chariot. Cause I don't really think like Poseidon or Neptune has like actual wheels like attached to him. But anyway, and then this is called synthesis because it's A B A B. That's just an order thing. And that's about it. Pretty much Neptune saves the day. He saves the Trojans, and he gets the winds out of his hair. It's pretty good. Thanks.